Oh, there's my deck. I found it. Wait, I need the side. What is up, all you beautiful people? It is I, AkemiTCG, back with the brand new video, and I'm gonna make sure this is recording. Everything's recording. Okay, we are good to go. Gotta make sure that's in the middle there. Okay, anyways, my bad, guys. I haven't been uploading recently. I've been wicked busy, actually just playing way too much Yu-Gi-Oh. This weekend I played in 5 different events. Okay, I got the list like right here. You guys aren't gonna see it, but on Thursday I played at my locals. Friday I played in a different locals just to practice for our regional qualifier OTS championship thing. Saturday I played in the regional qualifier. Saturday night I played in the locals for that same regional qualifier, and then Sunday I played in a side event to win a box. So I'm gonna explain what happened. So I am using Hanko Chow's Floowandereeze build. Pretty much the main and the extra are almost identical. I'm not kidding. Like I'm not gonna BS you guys. I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is some innovative, new, groundbreaking technology. But the side deck is slightly different, and I'm gonna explain pretty much every single thing that happened this weekend and how it went down. So first I'm gonna break it down. We're gonna get the deck profile first, then I'm gonna talk about my matchups, and then pretty much a little bit of the things I changed. I didn't actually lose. Like, I thought about this whole weekend. I didn't lose a single match or duel because I made a misplay. I almost lost every single one because I just drew really poorly, and that's kind of like what you get with the deck. Sometimes you draw really good, sometimes you just don't, and it's just, you know, it's a part of the game. It's Yu-Gi-Oh. So anyways, let's get right into the deck. And so if you guys haven't seen it, this is going to be a treat for you guys. It's probably the most consistent Floowandereeze build. You want to play 40, and in the past I was not playing 40, and that was a gigantic mistake. So we got the 3 Robina. Robina is going to be your starter. This is the one that gets you all level 4s, so you need to play those. 3 Eaglins, because this gets you the high level. Some builds are playing 2, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? You play 3 Eagle. Eagle is really good. This card's really amazing. So 1 Stree, and I'm gonna explain that in a second. I feel like you never need to see more than 1 when you're playing against DPE. You'd prefer to see something else that's a little bit different than Stree, and obviously if they're a seasoned player, your opponent's gonna know that you have Stree in your arsenal. They're gonna know that, oh, you're gonna try to bait out the DPE and then use Stree to banish it. So you have different ways to play around that. 1 Toucan, you never really want to play more than 1. That's just a fun fact. That's just a pure fact. You do not play more than 1 Toucan, alright? No argument. 1 Berry Statue of the Stormwinds, obviously. 1 DD Crow. So DD Crow is just another name for a hand trap. You can Robina search it. It's just super flexible. I've had times where I've opened this and it's really good because I played against a Water Enchantress deck and they pitch it for, I believe, Fateful Adventure. And then on Resolution, I just use DD Crow, banish the Water Enchantress, and then lose access to their Rite of Amnesia. So it's been really good. Also, if you play against any Despot 1 deck, you can banish their Despot 1 the moment it sends to the graveyard, or they try to bring it back. You can do that as well. So just a very flexible card, this format. If you can afford to fit more, I think it's really amazing, this format. 1 Apex Avion, 1 Ryza, and then 1 Empen. So these are the only 3 big names you have to play. I tried playing Empen. Well, I've been playing 2 Empen in the past, and it's been working really well, but then I realized if I cut it down to 1, then it just works. I never really needed to see more than 1 because you can just go Stree, banish Empen, and 2 can bring it back. So it just worked out really well in my favor. And Ryza is just, it's good. It comes up a lot. Like, since you're only playing 1 Empen, that's literally the way you break boards. And Apex Avion, surprisingly for me, just came up way too much, so I consider it a phenomenal card. 3 Ash Blossom. You are playing hand traps, you don't know if you're going first or second, so I think Ash, people say Ash isn't good this format, but I personally really like it. Sometimes it just stops plays completely. Their first DDD monster, they normal summon it, you just Ash it, assuming they haven't played a Piri Raised map. You just have way too many options with this card. Like, sometimes you can Ash a Vessel, it'll end their plays. Sometimes you can Ash a Crystal Needle Fiber, it'll end their plays. Sometimes even the Extravagance, it ends their plays. So it's also really good in the mirror as well, because the only outs they have in it is Cross Out if they're playing it, and also Called by the Griff. 3D Shifter, probably the best hand trap in the game, so you just want to play 3, especially since his deck loves this card. I played it in one of the mirrors and he dropped D-Shifter on standby and I got so terrified because I thought he was playing Madolche, but he was playing Flu, so that was fine. Onto the spells. 3 Book of Moon. We're playing 3 Book of Moon again because I took it out. I thought I didn't need it, but I realized this card is so busted in so many levels. You can book their stuff. You can book their Baroness, their Chisha, whatever they have as a negate, you can book. Granted, it's not a link monster. You can book your own guys to dodge Imperm, Veil of Ash. You can book their monster when they attack into your Windbarrier statue. It's just a phenomenal card, and I honestly never should have cut this out in the first place, so really good. 1 call by sometimes. Well, every once in a while, this does conflict with Shifter, but if you know you're going second and you open Shift the call by, then you can either hold off on the Shifter. If they're playing PK, obviously you want to drop the Shifter, but it's very, 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 very rare where your call by is going to clash with your Shifter. The only time that would happen is if you've already shifted them and they have Ash, and if it's on your turn, if you open Shifter, call by, and something else, you want to make sure you don't just preemptively drop Shifter, okay? You normal summon your Robina first, they chain Ash, you chain call by, and then in the same chain you chain Shifter as well. Do you guys get what I mean? You have to be able to do that, or else you're gonna kind of mess up your play there. That's like a simple misplay a lot of people do, is you have to chain your Shifter in response to your own cards. You ask your opponent if they have a response, you play 1 card, and then you chain Shifter. Then you can see their face just drop if they don't have an out to that. 3 Advents, this card's broken. 3 Map, this card's broken. Explored Winds, you just play 1. Sometimes when you hard open it, it's really good. Like, there's gonna be times, it's so weird. I'll draw like the brickiest hands with this card, and then the moment I resolve this card, I unbrick. Like in one of the duels, I unexplored Winds for 2, and then the 2 cards I drew were literally Shifter and the field spell, and I'm like, this is phenomenal, phenomenally good. So good card, you just never really need more than 1, but it's a phenomenal card. 3 Pot of Dualities, you have to play that. 3 Pot of Prosperities, you either play Dualities or Prosperities. You pick your poison. With Prosperity, you get to augment your extra deck a little bit more. With Extravagance, you really don't. And also, just letting you know, Extravagance conflicts with this card as well, so just be really, really careful. Same with Prosperity, but the best part about Prosperity, in my opinion, is you don't have to do it immediately at the start of main phase 1. You can do it main phase 2. You can set up your whole board, then play Prosperity, dig for something that's better after. Like, you have so many options. I honestly prefer doing that because you open Robina Map, there's no reason for you to preemptively Prosperity. You want to go Robina Map, try to see if they got something for that. If you're worried that they have Ash or something, you can Prosperity, try to dig for call by. But call by Old Book of Moon, but irregardless, this card's super, super good and super flexible. 1 Dreaming Town, and then the last 3 is 3 Imperms. Imperm's a good card. Stops so many decks. I've stopped DDDs completely with this. Having it in the main has been super, super phenomenal. Shout outs to Hanko. Obviously, this is literally his build, card by card, in the main, so it's been running extremely smoothly. Because we're playing 40, it doesn't really brick that often. I've had, maybe this whole weekend, I've only bricked literally 3 times. Literally 3 times. So, onto the extra, we have 1 Fusho. This never came up, but it's a good card to have. It's unaffected by card effects in general. So if you're afraid they have like I guess like a trap hole or a floodgate or something, then this is the way to play around it, and then summon Zeus without having to hard commit. 1 Nightingale, attack directly. I've had sometimes people just negate this, and that's completely fine. But with Nightingale, you just go downer and then go into Zeus. I've only went to Zeus literally once this whole weekend, and actually, I'm trying to remember if I won the game. Actually, I don't think I won that game, so it never really comes up. But just having the option there is really, really nice. 1 Verdant. This is to take the Baroness. It's a good card. Phoenix, the pop back row. BLS. I actually wasn't playing BLS earlier. I was playing Fergie. But this would have came up one time where my opponent had D-Force and Plasma out, and all I need was to get 3 monsters on board without using any of their effects, and then I could make a BLS to run over it, but it just didn't happen, unfortunately. 1 Anima, just to take their stuff. People aren't really respecting the columns that people are going in, so you want to be able to eat it with Anima. Shureg, if for some reason you're able to summon this, you're just really good, because you can just banish something, attack for game. It's pretty dope. But Ideally, if they Maximus you, then you can send Shurig, and then you can just get a free plus, assuming you have something banished. 1 Underworld Goddess. This is literally the out to Final Sigma. Probably will never pop up ever, but main phase 2, you can go the Floowandereeze, the Dreaming Town, and then set up 4, and then next turn you just use their Final Sigma's material, and then hopefully you can attack the game. One Ignister for the Maximus. That's for Maximus. That's for Maximus. This is also for Maximus with the Makaba. Literally, nobody ever summoned Maximus against this deck, and if they did, they never used the effect because they know that this extra deck is so flexible, you don't need anything. So we could just punish your opponent so hard for committing to Maximus, so that's completely fine. On to the side, very, very simple changes here. We have 3 Dark Ruler. This card is cracked, insanely good. I played against TCGPlayer and I just wiped them out of existence. 3 Raigeki. I was playing Lightning Storm before, and then I realized after listening to Hanko explain it, it's so very, very simple. This card has literally 0 drawback. If you are going second, okay, if you are going second, the only drawback this card has is if they flip anti-spell. That's literally the only drawback, and irregardless, Lightning Storm doesn't solve that problem. And Raigeki, you can use multiples in a turn. I've drawn 2 Raigekis in a Robina. It's won me a game because of it, because it's so cracked. And there's literally 0 drawback to the card. And if you're going first, you would side it out anyway. So you're only going to see this card when you want to. 3 Twin Twisters. People are playing Lancia and they're shotgunning ASAP, and Twin Twisters gives me the option to just wait. I don't have to play Cosmic. I don't have to play evenly. It does suck to just -1 from the hand and then break even, but being able to hard chain it is really, really good. You want to just play stuff that kind of jukes everything right now, and I like Twin Twisters a lot. 3 Harpy's Featherstorm. Literally every time I resolve this card, I've won. You have Wing Beast, a Win Beast. Stand by. If they Cosmic it, you chain it. If they Lightning Storm it, you chain it. If they do anything, if they like Ashuna effect, you just chain Harpy's Featherstorm, and then it shuts out their whole turn, and they literally can't do anything. And then the 3 flexible spots you got are these 3 cards. So you have Duster and D-Berry. The only reason why you play Duster is if they pop your Harpy's Featherstorm. So if you're playing like the Eldritch matchup, they're gonna side in stuff like Cosmic, Lightning Storm, stuff like that, but more so just Lightning Storm. If they pop the Harpy's Featherstorm, you get to search the Duster. So you can chain the Storm, and then since Harpy's Featherstorm gets destroyed anyways, because cards don't go to the graveyard until after the chain resolves, you still get to search the Duster, which is really nice. But this honestly never came up, so I honestly might play 3 D-Berry instead. If you're going first and you flip D-Berry on certain matchups, it's literally just a death sentence. But another card you could try out, which I've been liking as well, is Rivalry of the Warlords. So Rivalry of the Warlords, the moment they summon the let's say you're playing the Brave token engine, right, and they summon one of the Brave tokens, you can flip that on resolution, and then they're kind of stuck unless they have Vishuda. They can't get rid of the Rivalry, Vishuda or Cosmic or Twin Twister, something like that, something to get rid of back row. But because they've already committed a Fateful Adventure and also the token on the field, they have to Vishuda to get over it. They can't Lightning Storm because they have a face-up card, and they're stuck with the Fairy token. Rivalry says they can only control monsters of 1 type. So everybody has Winged Beasts. For your deck, it's all Winged Beasts, but they have Fairies, they have Winged Beasts, and if they play in Tenyi, they have Worms. So Rivalry could be a really, really good option. Even after, if you know they're playing Nidofiber with the dragons, the moment they summon Nidofiber with the dragon, then you flip it, and then it just works out. Or if they've gone Nidofiber Despot, you go Nidofiber Despot, wait till they summon Auroradon summon 1,000,000 tokens, and then when they bring the Despot back, at that moment you can flip the what is it called? You can flip the Rivalry, and then what they have to do is they're forced to kill one of your cards with Auroradon, and then afterwards they're like, well, I can't really do much. But in the real sense, we just rambled on for like 5 minutes about Nidofiber. In the real sense, before they even summon Nidofiber, if you see a tuner or non-tuner, you flip Rivalry, and that's usually GG. If they don't have an out to that, so that's definitely something you guys can try too. And one more side thing you can talk about is 3 Token Collector. If you're going second, you need to draw into literally Raigeki or Dark Ruler. But if you play Token Collector as well, that could stop. So you can side in 9 cards for going second and just pray you see one of them. You have such a high chance because you're playing 40. But that's something you can think about. So anyways, here are the matchups. If you liked the video so far, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Anyways, Thursday, I played against Heroes. I got Swifty because he opened Droplet and Lightning Storm. I made the board, but you know, if you open both Droplet and Lightning Storm against me, I lose. Next, I played against Virtual World Combo, playing with Eldritch and everything. I just Book of Moon his Crystal Wing, and then I just kept charging him for game. And then there was like 5 minutes in the clock, and then I gained life and I won. Played against Forceful Tenyu combo. He made like a Qishang, and then 2 back row. I know one of them was a blackout, so on my turn I go Regeki, set 2 pass, and then one of them was a Book of Moon. I didn't have a hand, so he summons Tae, banish Emergence. And then he summons a token. On resolution, I Book of Moon his Tae, then his turn ends. And then on the next turn, I draw into map. And I already had another bird in hand, so I can go off. 2 out prank hits. I felt really bad for him because I'm not gonna lie, the whole duel was a blur. I just swifted him. Alright, Friday. So on Thursday, locals, I went I got 5th place because the one of the guys I beat didn't do too well. But I got 5th, so it's alright. So on Friday, I went to a different locals. I played against the hero player again. The guy that beat me at this preview locals, like, played me again, and then he wasn't fortunate to open Lightning Storm game 2s and 3, so I outed him. Game 3, he was going first, but his hand was subpar. He played Hero Lives, and I let that go through. No, he E-called, not Hero Lives. He E-called normal summon Stratos, and then I Ash the Stratos because I'm just praying. I'm like, if you have something else, you have it. But if you always have Ferris or Increase first, then you always go for that play first. So since he just straight up normal summon Stratos, I just Ashed it, and his turn just ended there. Then I played against base 2-0. I Regeki'd. So my opening hand was like Regeki, Pot of Duality, Regeki, and then some other peripheral stuff, like some other not good stuff. So I Regeki to beta his Baroness because that's all I can make. Because I imperm one of his things. I don't remember what I impermed, but I did some. I 100% did something. Oh, I de-shifted him. So he still made Baroness and pass. And then I draw for turn. He's not good, so I Regeki to beta his Baroness because I don't want him to negate my duality possibly. So I play duality, and then I still don't hit anything. So I literally sat on a Windberry statue, set 2 and pass, and eventually I drew into a bird, and then I won the game. He just kept drawing to things that aren't playable, like Vashuda, Ashuna, Shitana are literally unplayable while I have the Windberry statue on the field. Played against Prank Kids. I just drew the nuts on. I drew D-Shifter, Harpy's Featherstorm, Robina map, and that was the most cracked hand I've ever drawn against him, and I just felt really bad. Harpy's Featherstorm, not Duster. And then for finals, I played against Invoke Dogmatica DPE. They have a terrible matchup against my deck, and then game 3, I just blew him out of the water. So I was in there. On Saturday for the regional, I played against Dragonlink. Dragonlink, I got absolutely... I just destroyed the dude. I just feel so bad. Like, every time I do against like a Dragonlink player, I almost always open D-Shifter. I don't know why. They're cutting my deck, but you know, if you have it, you have it. Or like I just imperm their correct cards. Like it just somehow always ends up working out. So I just do them really quickly. Next, I played against B-Trooper DPE. I have no idea what this deck does. So game 1, I just impermed I ashed the wrong card. That's exactly what happened. I should have ashed the Resonance Insect, but I knew he had extenders that he didn't even normal summon yet, so I'm not sure what to do at that point. But he made a board, and then I realized that Seraphim Pathlim makes the negate. So I lost game 1, but games 2 and 3 I quickly adapted, and then I figured out how to beat his deck. I played in the mirror. In the Floowandereeze mirror, okay, I draw 3 D-Shifter, 1 Ryza, 1 M-Pin. And I'm like, I draw for turn, right? And you're not going to believe it. The next card I draw for turn was Avion. And I'm like, I just lose. That's how I lost game 3. I don't want to talk about the other 2 games. Numeron, I just got bodied by the Plasma with D-Force. And then game 3, I sat it in 3 Twin Twisters for going first. So just in case, you know, somehow he Lightning Storms my board, then I can at least still pop his back row. But like, he has to get rid of both my front row and my back row in order to play. But like, if I open Twister, he has to get rid of both. So he activated Numeron Network, send calling, I chain Twister, and then that was it. I played against Brave PK, 2-0'd him. I just felt bad. I open shifted both games. So Tenyi in the bubble. So I played in the bubble, top 8. If I got this next match, I would have gotten the invite. Game 3, my opponent opens Vishuda, Ashuna, Emergence, Vessel, and Call by the Grave. Like, there's literally no way for me to win unless I open like multiple imperms plus like a shifter or something. Like, it was just impossible for me to win because he opened the call by. So that he got that game. What made me really tilted was my hand was literally 4 different bird names, plus 3 different bird names, but none of them were Rubina. The spell card that lets me unexplored winds, so that was fine. I draw for turn. I draw DD Crow. I'm like, this would have been super helpful a turn ago. But anyways, there's 2 negates on the board. And I play the spell card that lets me draw 2. So I activate it. He negates the activation with Borolo Savage. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But nobody ever negates it. But the top 2 cards on my deck were literally in order: Dark Ruler No More and Raigeki. So I would have 100% won that game because all he had was Call By and Blackout, which he couldn't use because there's no monsters on the field. And his only hand trap was Ogre. So I would have destroyed him that game if he didn't negate that. So I was pretty tilted, I'm not gonna lie. So that night, I played against, in that locals, I played against a Dragon Link player. I got bodied by him because he opened, he played literally 7 hand traps on me again in that match, or in that single duel for game 3, so it was fine. Numeron player, I still 2-0'd him because I understand what the deck does. Tri-Brigade player, I 2-0'd him as well because I know what that deck does. On Sunday, I played in a box tournament, played against DDD, and game 1, I just impermed his Savant, and then he just passed. And then on my turn, I just had everything for him. He had the Valor, but I had the Book of Moon, so it just worked out for me. And then I played against Brave PK. Dude bricked and drew all his water enchanter stuff game 1, and then game 2 I just blew him out with D-Shifter, so he lost there. And then basically at the end of it, me and my buddy won the box, so we just split the box in half, and then that was it. Anyways, I know this video was super long. I hope you guys learned something. This deck is super good right now just because you're playing so many ways out the meta. D-Shifted, Ash Blossom, Imperm. You could honestly arguably play 2 Ash, 2 Ogre, 2 Imperm. That's completely up to you how you want to do it, but Ogres are really good right now. I had one game where I actually drew 3 Ash, but my other 2 cards were literally the what is it, Advent and Windberry statue. So I played the Advent and I banished the Windberry statue, and he didn't have an answer, so I knew he didn't have Ash. So I just went off from there. So I was able to win a game opening 3 Ash. But it really does suck when you open multiple Ash, but it's such a strong card against specific decks that it's kind of hard just to pass up and just not play. But I could try 2 Ash, 2 Ogre, 2 Imperm, then report on that. But other than that, I don't think I'd make any other real changes to the deck. Imperm's just a phenomenally strong card. And besides these, you could play Rivalries, but D barriers are a little bit more safe because if you're going first and you draw this, it's a death sentence against certain decks. But the only neg is if you brick and then you draw this, it's still bad because you're only buying 1 turn. But if you brick and then draw Rivalry, you could buy a lot of turns. So that's something to think about. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope y'all enjoyed this long, uncut rant about birds. I'll probably be doing this more, but I will see you guys next time. Peace!
The world ends now.